For years, women disappeared from the streets of Vancouver. Families reported them missing, friends searched for answers. But as the number of disappearances continued to grow, the warnings went largely unanswered. When police finally searched a pig farm in Port Coquitlam in 2002, they uncovered evidence that would expose one of the largest serial murder investigations in Canadian history. This is the story of Robert Pickton. Robert William Pickton was born on October 24th, 1949, in Port Coquitlam. He grew up on his family's sprawling pig farm, a property that would eventually become infamous around the world. Life on the farm was harsh. Robert and his brother Dave spent much of their childhood raising pigs, cleaning barns, and working long hours. Friends and classmates later described Robert as socially awkward, quiet, and often isolated. He was reportedly bullied at school, partly because of the strong smell that clung to his clothes after working with livestock. As an adult, Pickton continued living on the farm. Although he lived a relatively modest lifestyle, the family's land became increasingly valuable as the Vancouver area expanded. To many people, he seemed eccentric but harmless. That image couldn't have been further from the truth. In the 1990s, the Pickton farm became known for wild parties held inside a converted building nicknamed Piggy's Palace. Bikers, local residents, and people connected to the criminal underworld attended. Police were called to the property numerous times over complaints ranging from noise to suspected illegal activity. Despite the attention, no one yet understood what investigators would later allege was happening on the property. Just a few kilometers away, women from the Vancouver's downtown east side were disappearing at an alarming rate. Many were vulnerable, struggling with addiction, living in poverty, or engaging in sex work. Families filed missing persons reports. Friends searched tirelessly. Community advocates repeatedly warned that a serial predator could be targeting women. Yet many of the disappearances were initially investigated as isolated cases instead of part of a larger pattern. As the 1990s came to an end, fear spread throughout the community. Rumors about the pig farm began to circulate. Some claimed women had been seen there, others whispered they never returned. But rumors alone weren't enough for investigators to obtain the evidence needed to build a case. Then, everything changed. On February 2002, officers arrived at the Pickton farm while investigating an unrelated firearms complaint. They expected to seize illegal guns. Instead, they began uncovering evidence that would launch one of the largest and most complex forensic investigations in Canadian history.